Ash. My name is Varun Bharti, president of the Rutgers Entrepreneurship Society, and today I'm joined by Jasmine and Malek, the co-founders of Samsara. For those of you who don't know, today we're filming the Rutgers Entrepreneurship Spotlight Series, essentially a platform for amazing and bright student founders like these two to my right to talk not only about their companies, but also about themselves as founders, as the faces behind great companies. So before we get into everything, give us a quick intro. Malay and Jasmine, give us a quick intro about who you guys are. Yeah.
My name is Malek Patel. I am a sophomore at Rutgers University studying business and tech. I really got interested in the entrepreneurship space around like a year ago, and ever since then, we've really taken off with Samsara.
My name is Jasmine. I'm at Rutgers studying environmental economics, and I'm also a sophomore. I basically got into the entrepreneur space my freshman year at Rutgers, and I want to bring sustainability to that space as well.
Really cool. Really cool. So now that the audience knows you guys, they know who the co-founders of Samsara are. Let's talk about Samsara. Introduce your company. What do you guys do? More importantly, what made you guys want to do this?
So I'll start with talking about kind of what we do and who we are. So we are a tech fashion company that primarily focuses on setting standards and enabling consumers with tools to help make sustainable fashion decisions. So what that really means is that we're helping consumers make more informed decisions about what they're wearing, how they're wearing it, and how long they're wearing what they're wearing. And we'll helping manufacturers figure out how to manufacture and how to ethically source. And I think Jasmine can talk about why we started and, what the impact of what we're doing really is.
So basically, the reason why we started was we wanted to bring both of our expertises together. He's more on the tech side, and I'm more on the sustainability side. And so our main goal with Samsara was to create a new industry standard, because right now there are a lot of problems going on in the fashion industry. As you may know, the problem of greenwashing, the problem of textile waste.
For those in the audience who may not know what greenwashing means, can you just give them a quick definition?
Right. So greenwashing is basically when companies use deceptive language to basically deceive other consumers into believing that they are consuming sustainably, but in reality, their manufacturing processes don't really reflect those values.
Interesting. Yes. So what you guys are doing at Samsara is essentially leveraging technology to enhance and further promote sustainability within the fashion industry, right? Really cool. Really cool. So yeah, that's really cool. What I would like to ask you as founders is this industry that you're in, it's not just fashion. It's also software. It's also sustainability. What would you call this industry that you find Samsara in? And what are your thoughts about the industry? What do you think? How do you think it's acted in the past? What could it have done better? How is it doing today? And where do you think it's going to go in the future?
I would say we're mostly in the industry of climate tech. That's like the term you could put us under, but I can break it down for you. Basically, I can talk about the sustainability part of it. We are a part of the fashion industry in a sense, and part of our goal at Samsara is to make it better on the consumer end and make a frictionless platform for people to actually look at their own sustainability and be proud of their journey in sustainability. And then, I guess, on the tech side.
Yeah, I think an important thing to realize about what we're doing really is that it's misinformation to just label us as a tech or fashion company. Really, the space that we're in is a consumer or the corporate social responsibility space, right? So we're enabling companies to be socially responsible, and you could also assume the same on the consumer side.
Yes.
Right? So an important thing of what we're doing is we're enabling both consumers and manufacturers to be sustainable. So industry-wise, it's hard to put us in a specific area.
Yes.
Because we use technology as a tool to leverage what we want to solve and issues that we want to address. But it really isn't the core of what we're doing. If we could do it with some other means, so be it. We change to different means of technology. So yeah, I think that's a good summary of what you're trying to ask. I hope that addressed what you're trying to say.
Yes, no, that was very insightful. Yeah. So now we know a little bit more about Samsara. Right now, let's go back to you guys. Your story. I want to take a moment to tell the viewers that being student entrepreneurs, being up here, it's not easy, right? How hard was it to get here? Right. I want you guys to take a minute to tell the viewers about your personal entrepreneurial journey. What were the obstacles? What were the hardships? What were the initial success stories, if there were any? Exactly.
Wait, I think one of my main roadblocks to get into entrepreneurship was I just didn't think I had the expertise. But the truth of the matter is, you just learn along the way. It's a lot of resilience that you need. You're gonna fail a lot. I know we were at a couple competitions pitching our idea, and we didn't win. And I think the main point and the main reason why we're still here is because we never stopped learning from what we were failing at.
Yes.
And when we did win, we celebrated. Yeah.
As you should have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, similar experience to Jasmine. I wouldn't consider myself, I am new to the space. I would consider myself new to the space, but I've been trying to do entrepreneurial things for a long time in my life, and something that I really came to learn and grow into is that no matter what you want to do, and even if you're the best at it, you won't get anywhere if you don't try. And I think that's the most cliche but true advice that anyone can ever really give.
Yes. You won't get anywhere if you don't try.
Yeah.
No.
That was the main thing with us, consistency. Like, we never stopped working at it, even if people were telling us the idea was not as good as we had it in our heads. We made it exactly as we wanted it to be. Yeah.
I mean, we did. To be fair, we had some early success. We had a lot of success with Res and Shark Tank.
That was actually one of our first things where we're like, yeah, we got this.
Yeah.
I think we know what we're doing.
Yeah, and we had a lot of early success. We hit a lot of plateaus, but it's important to push through those plateaus, really. And it's also important when you're an entrepreneur to be able to, empower people, the people around you.
Yes.
And your team that you're working with.
Yeah.
There'll be days when you don't want to work, and they're responsible for uplifting you and make sure you're on your stuff.
Yeah.
And there's days where you have to make sure that they're doing their things, So it's also important not just to be an entrepreneur, but a good leader. And I think that all starts with fixing certain aspects of your inner self. And if you're not really in a position to be an entrepreneur, if you're not able to really reflect and take advice from yourself, if that makes any sense.
No, I think it does. I like what you're saying. Take advice from yourself. You need to be able to listen to that and fix it. But what if someone thinks that they're perfect and they have no advice to give themselves?
You can't be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I know.
Most egotistical of egotistical entrepreneurs, which, don't get me wrong, some level of ego is necessary to be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
But deep down inside, they have some level of balance between knowing when they're right and to keep pushing forward and knowing when to listen and not talk. So I feel like that's an important balance you need to develop, not just for entrepreneurship, but also to improve in your life, to be happy and to be successful in what you want to do.
And also, it's I mean, I went through a really personal journey when I was getting into the space as well. On the flip side of things, I know it's good to have an ego, but sometimes when you have no ego at all, you always when you're hating on yourself too much, you have to have faith in yourself.
Yes.
I really gained that through entrepreneurship. Because you have to learn how to sell yourself.
Yeah. So I guess the paths to being a successful entrepreneur is balancing that tightrope walk of believing in yourself, hating on yourself, right? So now the viewers know a little bit more about you guys, right? Let's take a 180 back to the company, back to Samsara. What is the vision that you guys have for the future of your company?
I think we want to be a company that holds people accountable and that creates a new dialogue for fashion and for just your lifestyle and your habits, to be less wasteful and and more resourceful with what you have.
Yes.
And generally to just disrupt the industry.
Yes.
And we're not just looking at like the fashion industry. I mean, right now we're in the macro and we're focusing on fashion. We really want to tackle that problem with the fashion industry and how, there's a lot of unethical practices that occur in that fashion industry. But with our mission and our goal, we really don't want to we want to influence the way consumers interact with products. And we want them to be comfortable and confident in their purchasing decisions. So we want them, when they pick something off a shelf at any store, any product, we want them to know that it's ethically sourced and ethically produced. And so that's a standard that we're trying to set for the world.
Interesting. So before I go on to ask the last question, for the audience and the viewers who may not know who you are or who may not know what Samsara does exactly, could you guys just give a quick rundown of what you hope that your product can achieve? Like list some features and how that will help achieve your vision statement of promoting sustainability within the fashion industry.
Well, we have 2 new features coming. We basically have an app or a platform where you're able to view all of your purchases that you make. We would be able to partner with brands, and they would provide us with their like sustainability metrics, and we would be able to see how sustainable you are based on your purchases, and we incentivize those purchases by giving you a Samsara score. Through that platform, you'll also be able to buy from the platform from the brands that are Samsara approved. That's some key features.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Don't add on.
Yeah, and I think it's also important to talk about the emerging technologies that we're really trying to adapt into our practices to not only, have those buzzwords of new emerging technologies, but also to really be useful to our consumers. And so a few of the few things that we're trying to do is we're trying to track supply chain processing with blockchain technology.
Yes.
So it develops a more consistent and reliable ecosystem for manufacturers to really understand how they're producing. And then on the consumer side, we're trying to develop a AI assistant sort of
Very cool.
that helps you find new ways to style and wear your wardrobe.
Yes.
And that kind of promotes the whole fact of, using what you already have instead of overconsumption.
Yes. Before I ask you the last question, I think you just hit on something that I'm not sure if most people know about. What you just said is actually one of my own personal investment theses. I haven't told too many people. I feel like the whole software industry, every single software in any type of industry is over the next 10 years, it's going to get uprooted. The whole software industry is going through a whole restructuring. And every single software, they're known as SaaS, software as a service. They're in a race. Every single SaaS is in a race to get a BaaS and a MaaS. Blockchain as a service and models as a service. Blockchain and AI. And in every single software, in every single sector, the first software companies that are able to begin to leverage AI and blockchain technology and it's a spectrum of how much they lean on either emerging technology, depending on what industry that they're in. These are the new software stacks that will become the new major players and major market share participants. So, Malay, very smart thing you just said. Amazing. The last question I would want to ask you guys is, you guys are more than just entrepreneurs. You guys are also full-time students. If the viewers don't know, these are both Rutgers students, like myself. And you can't be a part-time entrepreneur, right? So you're a full-time student, you're a full-time entrepreneur. What is some advice that you would give to aspiring student founders like yourself? Who want up first? Bring it up.
I think a big thing you have to take into account before you become an entrepreneur is, what is your reason to become an entrepreneur? A lot of people glamorize the lifestyle, the money, the industry itself. Entrepreneurship opens a lot of doors to a lot of different industries. So it's important to realize what your purpose for being an entrepreneur is and how that correlates with your life as a student. So, for example, I'm a business student and I want to go into consulting as a professional career, besides entrepreneurship, of course. but how does Samsara tie into what I want to do professionally? So a lot of what I want to do professionally is relating to building up businesses and helping them succeed. So having this firsthand experience developing my own business gives me a lot of key skill sets that a lot of students coming out of college that go through the classes and internships that everyone else goes through don't necessarily develop. And another thing you have to really take into account is, are you fully leaning on being an entrepreneur, or are you fully leaning on being a student? Which one's more important to you? If you had to lose one, which one would you be willing to lose, right? I think that's a big thing that a lot of people understand. And if you're not willing to lose,
Which one would you be willing to lose?
I could do without school. I think I could do without school. I think I can get a job, just get my own experience out in the industry and get my own job without a degree. I think it's possible.
Amazing.
That being said, you always want to have that backup plan, right?
Yes, yeah.
But you always have to keep in mind where your goals are in life, right? So you never want to put too many eggs in one basket. Sometimes that's necessary in entrepreneurship. Sometimes it's not. But I think it's important to know where your heart really lies, and wherever it does, to just keep attacking and keep pursuing your goals in that field, and coast on the other front to whatever you want to do.
I agree. You need to have a lot of parallels in your life, tying to what you want to do in entrepreneurship. You really have to have very similar lifestyle, like always consistently thinking about it. That's what we do. We're always thinking about Samsara. I think another piece of advice I would give is, I feel like I'm not in the position to give advice sometimes because I'm also learning. That's like one of my main things. Like I'm constantly learning. We're constantly growing as a team, as individuals. I think I like to say this, every day is a customer discovery day for Samsara. Like we're always learning about what our people want from us. I also think that it's really important to remain consistent in that. Like you will face a lot of failure sometimes, and it's important to just keep getting up and keep believing in yourself and doing what you gotta do. I know it's cliche, but like,
No, 100% right.
Yeah.